All right, guys, so let's get into some Facebook vocabulary that you really need to kind of understand to be able to utilize all of the most advanced portions of Business Manager and creating custom audiences and things like that. So where we're going to head right now is up into the menu and audiences. And what we see here is that they have a couple of options. So you can create what's called a custom audience, you can create what's called a lookalike audience, or you can create what's called a saved audience. So custom audiences, for the most part, are email lists. So say you have a bunch, like 100 people who sign up to your email list for your golf site, and then you can upload that 100 people's emails if you have their names, all the information about them that you can, and then Facebook will take their email, their name, their address, and they'll match it to their own records of those people, and then they'll basically create a custom audience of all of those people. So custom audiences, you can kind of do a few things. So the main two ways are customer files, like I was just saying, a customer file to match your customers with people on Facebook and create an audience from the matches. The data will be hashed prior to upload, or website traffic. So app activity, obviously if you have a mobile app. Offline activity is a bit more advanced. We'll talk about this later. And engagement. We don't specifically use engagement that often, but you can create engagement custom audiences of people who interact with your page. So like maybe they like your stuff on your page, or they watch videos on your Facebook page, or they share or comment things on your Facebook page. But until you kind of have a larger page, engagement isn't going to be particularly useful for you. So we are going to focus on customer files, uploading emails, names, things like that, and website traffic. So once you actually install your pixel onto your site, you'll have website traffic. When you install your pixel, and for those of you who don't know what a pixel is, we'll talk about that in a second, but it's basically like a little piece of code that you put into your Shopify site, and then Facebook says, oh, okay, well, this Facebook user actually went to your Shopify site, because the pixel registers that Facebook user's ID and tells Facebook that this specific person, so maybe Kevin, came to your Shopify site, and then Facebook would show me an ad for your site, because Facebook knows, because of the Facebook pixel code on your site, that I visited your site based on my Facebook ID. So that's why, kind of, if you've ever been browsing the internet and all of a sudden you've seen like a crazily specific ad, maybe you were just like, you're going camping and you were looking at camping stoves or something like that, and all of a sudden you go back onto Facebook and you see a bunch of ads for camping stoves on the website, from the website you're just on, and you're just like, wait, how the heck does that happen? What's happening is the Facebook pixel is actually identifying you and then allowing the advertiser to retarget you, which is how you really get your ad costs super, super low. So that is a custom audience. A lookalike audience is basically you utilize Facebook's unbelievable amount of data to create what is called a lookalike audience. So let's say that you have a custom audience of 100 people who've been to your site, or 100 people who you have their emails. So that's how you create a custom audience. But your custom audience would only have 100 people in it right at that point, right? So that's not many people to advertise to, because they'd be annoyed if you kept advertising to the same 100 people. That's why Facebook invented the lookalike audience. So the lookalike audience is probably one of the most important adaptations that every other advertiser out there now utilizes, that allows you to create a much larger pool to advertise to, who share variables with the custom audience you created. So let's try to explain that another way. So if 100 people visit your site, then maybe 75 of them are men who are aged 35 to 44, and Facebook has all of this data. Maybe 75 of them are above $150,000 per year. Maybe 75 of them like the Facebook page Tiger Woods. So what Facebook's going to do with that website data, once you make a custom audience of people who visited your website, Facebook is going to say, if you try to create a lookalike audience, so it's going to say, okay, give me, instead of 100 people that visit your site, give me 2 million people who share as many data variables as possible with those 100 people who visited your site. So if 100 people visit your site and 75 of them are men aged 44 to 55 who like golf, then Facebook is going to go out, and out of all 300 million people in the USA, it's going to say, okay, 2 million of them, are men in the same age range who also have shown interest in golf, who also have this income status. And that is the beauty of Facebook. So you can use Facebook's unbelievable stores of data to create much larger pools to actually advertise to, but still do so in a very targeted way. So this means find new people on Facebook who are similar to your existing audiences. So you can read more about it, but really that's all it takes. And so any custom audience you create first, you can actually use as the source, And then you can create location specific. So let's say that I choose everybody who likes my Kevin David page. So if I want to do that in the United States, I do it here. But maybe I want to split test. Maybe I want to advertise to people in the USA, but I also want to advertise to people in just Canada or just the UK or just Germany who might also be interested in what I have to offer or my products or my Shopify store. So instead, I could cancel out the USA and choose Germany. And now it would populate people who like the Kevin David page, who are in Germany and share characteristics with the thousands of people who like the Kevin David page. So that's kind of one way to do it. If you want to do a website audience, you can do that too. Any custom audience that you create, you can create into a lookalike audience. The one caveat of that is you have to have at least 100 page likes per country to create a lookalike audience. So Facebook has enough data, but the more likes you have or the more website visitors you have, the more accurately you can create both custom audiences, but more importantly, you can create lookalike audiences from those custom audiences. Because if you have 10,000 visitors who are 9,000 of which are Facebook users, Facebook has a lot more data to compare from a variable perspective. People, maybe they have this color hair, or like they have, they're this age, they're from these states, they're from these cities. The more data that Facebook has to actually create these through its algorithmic means create similarity comparisons, the more accurate your lookalike audience will become, and then the more sales and profitable your ad campaigns will be. So that is a custom audience and a lookalike audience. The last thing I want to talk about really quickly, and we mentioned it slightly, is the Facebook pixel. So the Facebook pixel is the true magic of Facebook advertising. If you don't use the Facebook pixel, you'll never be profitable. You'll never get the true results and utilize the true data that Facebook has on people. The Facebook pixel is how you retarget. So if somebody comes to your website and maybe they view your cart or they put their payment info in, but they don't buy, we want to retarget them because we're not annoying them. They just forgot, right? Maybe the phone rang, maybe any number of different things happen. And so the pixel is how you become a Facebook expert, and the integration that Shopify and Facebook share from a pixel perspective makes it unbelievably easy. All you have to do is paste your pixel code from Facebook into your Shopify store, and it will natively give you all the information you need about viewing cart, viewing content, purchases, everything you need to be able to set up conversion campaigns and really utilize retargeting the best and most beautiful possible ways you can. And we will talk about all that, do not worry. But for right now, I'm just going to show you where your pixel actually is. So we're going to come up to the menu here, and under measure and report, we see pixels. So if we come to pixel, you're going to be able to see your pixel. So this is my pixel right here. I've had 140,000 events received in the last, I believe, 7 days. So 140,000 people have visited my website in the last 7 days. So if we go to details here, we can see a lot of stuff. And so this is for my digital products business mixed with my Amazon landing pages. So there's a lot of data here. We can see page views, so we can make a custom audience of this. This is events received. So 1.3 million people have visited it since earlier this year, it looks like. And we can see a lot of stuff: page views, viewed content. We can see leads, add payment info, and we can retarget people. We can say, hey, Facebook, show this ad to every single person who's added their payment info. Or we can make a custom audience of people who've added their payment info and then make a lookalike audience of that custom audience. So I think a lot of you are starting to understand, how exciting this is. It's such a beautiful art, mastering Facebook advertising. And that's why we're going to focus all of our effort into Facebook and into Instagram, because it's the truest source of profitable sales for your Shopify business. So if we want to actually grab the Facebook code, we're going to come up to setup and manually install the code yourself. And then we're going to go to copy to clipboard. So once we're in Shopify, we just come to online stores and preferences. And this is where we put all of our stuff. So paste your Facebook pixel ID here. And so you can go to how do I set this up if you want. It'll show you exactly how to do it. You basically just take your Facebook pixel and you copy and paste it in. The one thing is that Facebook actually gives you the entirety of the code here. And for Shopify, they try to make it easier by only needing the ID, but it's actually kind of annoying, because normally you install it in the back end, but for now we're just going to actually grab the Facebook ID, which is right here, the FBQ in it. It's also available right here, the ID equals. So we're going to grab that number right here. either one of them. These are the same number. And we're just going to literally paste your Facebook Pixel ID here and click Save. And now Facebook is literally all throughout our entire Shopify site. On every page, it tracks all of the custom events for you. And this is, for those of you who don't use Facebook as often, you don't realize how easy they've made it for us. Because like in ClickFunnels or in WordPress or in other places, you have to set up custom event codes to track purchases and leads. And it's a little bit harder. It's much more difficult for people who've never done it before. And Shopify makes it so easy. So literally all you have to do is grab your pixel, grab the ID, come into online store, preferences, Facebook Pixel, and save it. And it's just that simple. All right, guys, so let's recap. So now our Facebook Pixel is officially added, so all of our pixel data will be captured on all of our website pages. It does it all throughout the entire Shopify site. And we know how to find our pixel by going up here and going into All Tools, Measure and Report Pixels. If we want to create audiences, we just go into the menu and go to Audiences. We know what a custom audience is. It's generated from website traffic, people who add payment info, people who fill out their email, people who make purchases from you. Once you make those custom audiences, you can create what's called a lookalike audience to get a much larger advertising base. Instead of 1,000 people who visit your site, Facebook turns that 1,000 people into 2 million who share similarities with that 1,000. Lookalike audiences, you can take any source of a custom audience or people who like your page or anything like that, and then you choose the location. So the USA, or maybe you want to target people in Canada who are similar to people who like your page or who browse your website. And then you just press the audience size. So for the USA, I always do 1 because Facebook has the most data on people from the USA. 1 basically means that it's the most similar. So every person in the lookalike audience shares the most possible similarities. It basically means that the 1% is the closest matches your source. For smaller countries and places like, sometimes I advertise in Japan, it will have so few people that choosing a 1 actually just doesn't make sense. It makes the lookalike audience too small. So generally then, like for smaller countries, I'll do between 2 and 5, but I'd never go above 5. So for smaller countries, 2 to 5 is okay, but for large countries like the UK and the US, and large from the perspective of active Facebook users, not necessarily like landmass or anything like that, I always choose the 1. So we know how to make custom audiences, we know how to make lookalikes, we installed our pixel. We know that Facebook ads are organized into the campaign, ad set, and ad level. We know that the campaign is where we choose our objective, like traffic or engagement or conversion. We know that the ad set level is where we choose all of our detailed targeting, like people who are interested in Tony Robbins, who live in Kentucky, who are between the ages of 24 and 34. And we know that the ad set level is where we actually build out our ad. It's where we add our image. It's where we add the link that we want people to click through and land on, right? Our landing page. It's where we build out our titles and the ad copy for our actual advertisement itself. So that is the intro, guys. We set up, our business manager. We set up a Facebook page to run ads from. We're going to populate it with, a couple posts, some added value, some images and things like that. And now let's get into some actual examples of how we are going to run some ads to make a bunch of profit.